but I'd like to welcome all of our witnesses and let you know that your testimony is, you'd like to summarize your testimony in 5 minutes. Normally we have lights to tell you whether you've got 4 minutes or more to go, a green light, 1 minute, yellow, and a red light to say your time's up. But with this system, we will have timing on your screens to tell you how much time you have left, and please try to keep your statements to simply 5 minutes. All of our witnesses have a legal obligation to provide truthful testimony and answers to this subcommittee, and any false statements you make today may subject you to prosecution under Section 1001 of Title 18 of the United States Code. Also, I'd like to note that we have scheduled testimony we had from former Congressman and Cabinet Secretary Norman Mineta. Unfortunately, we were informed yesterday that he's very ill, not able to participate today. I wish him a full and speedy recovery. Our first witness is Kathy Masaoka. Ms. Masaoka is co-chair of Nikkei for Civil Rights and Redress. Since 1971, she's worked on youth, workers, housing, and redress issues in the Little Tokyo section of Los Angeles. She's a graduate of University of California, Berkeley.
So very loud, my voice. Okay.
Sir, you're recognized. Ms. Masaoka?
Yes.
Thank you.
Morning. Good morning, Chairperson, Ranking Member of the Committee, and members of the Committee. The Nikkei for Civil Rights and Redress, NCRR, and Nikkei Progressives supports HR40 and the Black community's demand for reparations because 1, it is the right thing to do, 2, it is long overdue, and 3, because we know it is possible. We won reparations in 1988. The Japanese Americans were not the first to make that demand. The Black community has long demanded reparations. In 1963, Queen Mother Audrey Moore, the mother of modern-day reparations movement, launched a campaign claiming back pay for descendants of enslaved peoples, as well as job quotas and training. Groups like the Self-Determination Committee formed in 1956, and along with the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America and the National African American Reparations Committee, have called for reparations for the institution and legacy of slavery. And HR40, as you know, has a long history thanks to late Congressman John Conyers. Even before the Civil War and since emancipation, individual Black Americans fought for and won limited reparations. Our community's demand for reparations did not arise by itself, but was inspired by the Black community's fight for civil and equal rights in housing, education, and more. Their sacrifices and leadership opened the doors for us and gave us the strength to demand redress and reparations from the U.S. government. We have to acknowledge the generous support of many Black groups and individuals who supported us in our campaign for redress, like Congressman Mervyn Dimely, who authored a Japanese American redress bill in 1982, Representative Ron Dellums, who spoke in support of the bill, and the Black Congressional Caucus, and many others, including then California Assemblywoman Maxine Waters and the Reverend Jesse Jackson. HR40 is an important first step towards reparations for the Black community. In 1981, when the Commission on Wartime Relocation and Internment of Civilians, the CWRIC, a commission to study if a wrong had been committed, was first proposed, many of us, including me, were against it, angry that the injustice of the concentration camps was even a question. But we soon understood that this was an opportunity for many former incarcerees to speak out about their feelings and experiences they had held inside for 40 years. So the community swung into action to mobilize testifiers for the hearings. NCRR played a key role in organizing grassroots support within the Japanese American community, insisting that former incarcerees speak at the hearings instead of just having experts or academics testify. Many of the Sansei, third-generation Japanese Americans like myself, and children of the incarcerees organized this effort. We heard anger, sadness, pain, and strength as we listened to stories we had never heard before. None of us could stop listening. It was an opportunity to begin the healing process for our elders, ourselves, and for the entire community. More importantly, it was a chance for those incarcerated to express their own demands for income and freedoms lost, for babies who had died, for dignity taken away, and much more. The hearings brought our Issei, Nisei, and Sansei, first, second, and third generations together to build a grassroots campaign, educate others about the incarceration, and reach out to other communities to win reparations. Moreover, the hearing solidified our determination to hold our government accountable and to continue the campaign no matter how long it took. We saw individual reparations as a just accounting and not as a handout. Similarly, HR40 is an opportunity for all of us to learn about the institution and legacy of slavery and its destructive impact that continues today on the Black community. This is a chance for many Black voices to be heard and for the Black community to express what kind of reparations it is owed. What we must do is listen and learn from these stories, from broader historical context to the most personal testimonies of pain, trauma, and generational struggle. It was important for Japanese Americans to determine our own path for redress and reparations, and we fully stand behind the Black community as they determine their own path forward. There is no dispute that the wealth of this country was built on the stolen lands of the indigenous people and on the free slave labor of Black people. In other words, reparations are owed to Black people and to the indigenous people as guided by their communities. The Movement for Black Lives Toolkit talks about reparations being owed in a manner and form to be determined by Black people themselves. It must take as many forms as necessary to equitably address the many forms of injury caused by the institution and legacy of slavery. HR40 is a necessary first step towards justice. It is the first step towards healing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Masaoka. I appreciate your testimony and your relating the experience of Japanese Americans and African Americans. Our next witness is Mr. Herschel Walker.